I'm really excited to chat about this rural, gritty, edge of your seat show, Joe Pickett. And I'm with the Picketts, so I'm very honored. Talk to me for each of you about getting into these characters and what that process was like for both of you.
Well, we were really very lucky to be able to draw from C.J. Box's novels on which the series is based. So for me, that was just a treasure trove of fun with every page, learning something about Marybeth, and then having the challenge of taking her off the page and out into this three-dimensional world and trying to make her my own and find this path. It became even easier when I met Michael, and these characters became very real, very fast.
Yeah, I have to second that. Meeting Julianna was a real window into who these characters are. As was being in Calgary, the landscape there, the scenery, really helped to find Joe. And like Julianna said, you know, there's a lot to go off with the books.
I want to dive right into this character because he is so multi-layered. Talk to me about taking on this role and really immersing yourself in it.
As soon as I read his words and his character on a page, I fell in love with him. And what I fell in love with was his heart, his integrity, and then it doesn't hurt to know that he's a badass. You know, he's an ex-special ops soldier, master falconer, and you know, this guy, he's a survivalist, so he knows how to survive in any circumstances, and particularly when you find he's living off the grid. So when we find Nate Romanowski, he is doing his best to survive, not only just in nature, but in the world, because of everything that he's going through.
I have written down that I learned you guys filmed it in Canada, not Wyoming. The landscape was beautiful. And so it's interesting that you say that, because I was going to ask, did being immersed in a wilderness situation help you guys kind of bring these characters to life? Talk to me about what it was like to have that beautiful area as your set.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we were pretty fortunate. You know, it's a beautiful character in the show. It is its own character. And anytime you were lost, like I would find, to just stop and look around at your surroundings, that always helps.
Or look up at the biggest sky you have ever seen.
Yeah, really, really beautiful.
Oh, absolutely. There's nothing like filming on location when you can truly be the character. I mean, I'm no stranger to nature at all. My history is marine and environmental science. I studied as a marine scientist, specializing in shark behavior, internationally published for shark research. So being out in nature was great, but being in Calgary, Canada, looking at all of those mountains, the snow-capped mountains, the trees, the grass, all of the animals pulling from that essence, that energy, that really inspired everything that Nate needed to be who he was and be in those situations. Definitely.
Well, if I can put my hat off to you, you do an incredible job. I mean, you're an amazing actor, so I'm not surprised. But in this role in specific, you do an incredible job of just really exemplifying the character full body. And I think that like wilderness surrounding kind of shine through. What are you most excited for viewers to see? There's so many great aspects to this show. So if you could just pick one.
I'm most excited about Marybeth and Joe's relationship. I think it's a dynamic and very honest portrayal of a marriage where these two people love each other. They don't always see eye to eye, but they always come back to the same level and try to communicate as best they can, even through their own hardships and shortcomings. And they have a level of humor in even some of the darkest moments that is very compelling to me.
Yeah, I have to second that. They always have each other's back. It's a really beautiful portrayal of what can be, what's possible in terms of a loving relationship.
The development of the relationships, the development of the story. I mean, I just love each character, the way that Michael brings Joe to life, the way that Julianna brings Marybeth to life, Vern, just all of our characters, Missy. Each person that lays eyes on Joe Pickett, the series on Monday, December 6th, is going to fall in love with them and then the storylines that interweave and the relationships between the two, but particularly between Nate and Joe. Watch that.
I agree. I think it's very interesting to watch Nate and Joe kind of level with each other when they both talk about like their childhood trauma. So it's just a really interesting dynamic that kind of takes the plot line up that much more when you already think that the plot line has you on the edge of your seat and it can't get that much more like nail biting. But it's just so good. And so kind of a challenging question, but my last one for you. If you could describe this show with 3 adjectives, what adjectives would you choose?
Truth, integrity, complexity.
Beautiful choices.